Good morning. It is Friday, May the 14th. I'm Shane Seeley, and this is the CBC Morning Report. Well, the recent COVID-19 scare at the Ellerslie School has prompted the Barbados Secondary Teachers Union to call for a new set of measures it believes will better protect teachers and, by extension, the students from contracting the virus in the school setting. The union now wants education officials to consider allowing face-to-face classes for exam students only for now, and strict adherence to the 6-foot social distancing rule in schools. According to the BSTU, this is in line with the guidelines from the Caribbean Public Health Agency, CARPHA, and the Center for Diseases Control, the CDC, in the U.S. Joining me live on the Morning Report to explain these demands are the President and Vice President of the BSTU, Marianne Redmond, and Leslie Lett. Good morning to the both of you. Good to have you on.
Good morning, Shane.
Good morning.
Thank you so much for this opportunity.
You should make the correction, though. I'm not the vice president of the BSTU. I'm a member of the BSTU.
All right. Now that we have that clear, let's deal with some of these demands. You speak to me about these demands in terms of the face-to-face classes. You want only the exam students for now to be on the school compound. Explain this stance.
Yes, Shane, and this is what we think is a stance that is reasonable and safe insofar as during the first week of school, we're only now finishing the second, but by the end of the first week, we would have had 2 children who would have tested positive, one in that week and one in the weekend following, which means that both would have been at school in a positive state during that first week. And we are aware that the virus is still very much with us. We teach in a situation, in a circumstance where on a daily basis, we have and will have, with the bringing back the phasing in of the rest of the school, hundreds of children on the school compound on a daily basis. Now, our contention is that the more children you have, the greater the possibility of infection spreading from child to child, from child to parent, to teacher, from teacher to students, etc. And we are of the firm belief that as it stands, we can manage more safely the exam classes at this point in time. They are our priority. The others can continue with online instruction. And when these exam classes go off, which should be by the end of May, early June, then you phase back in the rest of the school in a way that protects everyone as best as we can. That is our thinking. We are also thinking that the 6-foot physical distancing spacing is one that would be the most effective in our circumstances, given that the CDC guidelines that the Ministry of Health is following work as a set of complementary interventions. The 3-foot distancing that they are proposing, that they have in place actually, is part of a set of complementary strategies. Now, the rest of those strategies do not necessarily exist or do not exist in the way that the CDC would have intended. And so our contention is that in an abundance of caution, 6-foot distancing should be what we practice in the schools. And Leslie is very much au fait with the CDC recommendations. He can expand more fully on that.
Yeah, Leslie, for your part, you've been examining these guidelines. What do they say that is so critical to ensure the space at our island schools is safe for both those students and those teachers?
Well, the CDC is an agency which did recommend the 3-foot spacing. But it is very important to understand that this recommendation, this guideline, is seen as but one preventive measure, and it advocates it be buttressed, it be supplemented and complemented by layering of other preventive measures. And if you are going to act as the CMO has said, with an abundance of caution. I think that's very wise and prudent. You have to interrogate when you're using this 3 foot, when you're moving, when you're slashing it from 6 foot to 3 foot, if these other things that contextualized the 3 foot spacing are present. And I'll go through some of them. The CDC speaks of 3 feet in the classroom in the context of cohorting. That is not done in Barbados. It speaks of the 3 foot, the move to the 3 foot distancing in the context of full vaccination of teachers. That's another preventive measure, a layer that is not achieved in Barbados yet. It speaks of the 3 foot distancing in classrooms in the context of the provision of adequate sanitization supplies. Many teachers would tell you that there are classrooms that do not have the sanitation supplies, the spray. We used to have them in the first term when there was no community spread as there is now, when there was no pop-up declusters as there is now, when there were no variants as there is now. So we have a worse situation now, a more precarious situation now, but yet we have less protection than we had in the first term when we had these bottles. Teachers have been told that the money that was allocated to the purchase of these sanitization, the liquid, and had to be used for the ash cleanup. But that is at May. I know that I have been to many classrooms where I do not have the adequate sanitation supplies. It also speaks of the 3 foot distancing in classrooms in the context of staggering the arrival and the departure from schools of students. That does not apply in Barbados. It talks about it in the context of maintaining 6 feet distancing in certain places, and certainly when masks are off for eating. That is not applying in our situation, because students are being allowed to eat with masks off in the classrooms within 3 feet. It also speaks of that, and it says it's very vital that the matter of ventilation is critical. And it says let as much outdoor air in. And we know in our specific local context, our classrooms are not models of proper ventilation, and it's exacerbated now with if you let outdoor air in, you get in ash. So that compromises the ventilation issue. It also speaks of the 3. No, I'm not finished. It also speaks of the 3 foot distancing in a context of screen testing for students and teachers. Screen testing is not done. So what I'm saying, and also mask wearing is very important. And any teacher could tell you mask wearing is a serious critical issue, and students seem to be a lot of students seem to be eye servants in this regard. The number of times you have to speak to them about wearing the mask properly, and when they're out of your eyesight or they feel so, the mask come off right away. So what I'm trying to say, that the 3 foot distancing was in a context of a lot of layers, and these layers are not present. And as I said, I cannot reconcile that situation where a lot of the layers are non-existent in our local context, and I cannot reconcile that with the mantra of the CMO that we operate in an abundance of caution. And it should be noted, Shane, 6 feet has some significance in that the definition of a close contact is anybody within 6 feet for 15 minutes or more, with a mask or not, whether you don't have a mask or not. So 6 feet has some significance.
Point made, Leslie.
Thanks.
Quickly before you go, Mary, with all of these things not being done according to the CDC guidelines here in Barbados, what is the BSTU going to do next? You have about 30 seconds or so to answer that one.
Well, we intend to continue to push our cause, and we have the backing, so to speak, of CARFA, or rather we prefer the recommendations of CARFA. We think they are more suited to our environment. It is a regional organization with an understanding of our cultural context and what happens in our environments. They are pushing 6 feet. In fact, their recommendation is 6 feet. And we will continue at every level to push our concerns and our recommendations, since we are the persons in place operationalizing these protocols, or attempting to do so, and at the same time maintain an environment of safety and health for everybody using the school compound.
Well, Mary, these are conversations that we'll have to take into next week, a third week of term, and we will watch to see what is the situation with COVID-19 in schools. Of course, the Ministry of Health and the Ministry of Education, hope to hear from them as well. But thank you for coming on and sharing your views with us.
You're most welcome, and thank you.
Yeah, thank you as well,
Good
Leslie.
morning.
You all be safe.
Thank you. Good morning to all. Have
A pleasant, a good conversation there, explaining what the BSTU wants to take forward going into next week as we watch this COVID-19 situation in schools. We'll take a break here and we have some more COVID-19 updates. Leading our COVID-19 updates, Prime Minister Mia Moore-Motley has announced that the provisions of the Emergency Management COVID-19 Directive Number 9 that's currently in place will be continued into Directive Number 10, which will come into effect from Tuesday, May the 18th. However, there will be some modifications. The physical distancing requirement for places of religious worship will be 3 feet in each direction instead of 6 feet. Fraternal organizations, private or social clubs, civic associations and organizations, as well as political organizations, may resume meetings providing the protocols of mask wearing, sanitization, and physical distancing are strictly followed, and that the maximum number of persons attending is limited to 100 people, unless special exemption is granted. In all other respects, all of the prohibitions contained in Directive Number 9 relating to parties and the like will continue to be in force. The drive-in and cinemas may open every day subject to the existing agreed protocols, while photographers and videographers will be allowed to operate every day. The new directive will cover the period May 18th to June the 7th this year. 2 females tested positive for COVID-19 yesterday out of 520 tests conducted by the Best dos Santos Public Health Laboratory. Meanwhile, 29 people recovered from the virus and were discharged from isolation, leaving 90 people there. Barbados has recorded 3,959 confirmed cases of COVID-19. That's 1,913 females and 2,046 males. 75,724 people have been vaccinated, and of that number, 38,919 have received both doses. We're continuing to monitor the situation in India, and that country has recorded more than 4,000 COVID-19 deaths for a second straight day, while infections stayed below 400,000 for a fourth day, as the virus rampages the rural areas where cases can go unreported due to a lack of testing. According to the Health Ministry's data on Thursday, India reported 362,727 new COVID-19 infections over the last 24 hours, with the total caseload now at 23.7 million. Deaths climbed by 4,120, taking the death toll to 258,317.
And Uttarakhand have announced plans to use the anti-parasitic drug ivermectin to protect against severe COVID infections. The World Health Organization recently said evidence of the drug working is inconclusive, and it recommended its use only in clinical trials. Pavni Mittal is in New Delhi with more on India's vaccination campaign.
The state of Uttar Pradesh has come out and said that it will be spending more than $1.3 billion to import vaccines. The state has said that it has been in touch with several companies, including Sputnik and Pfizer, for this order. In all, 10 states have now come out and said that they will be looking to float global tenders to import vaccines so they can accelerate the vaccination drive in their states. These states include Rajasthan, Andhra Pradesh, Delhi, and even Maharashtra. The Modi government has come out and said that any vaccine that has been approved by the FDA in the US and also by the WHO will be allowed to be imported, and that import licenses will be granted within 2 days. This development comes as states have been scrambling for doses. Several of them over the last couple of days have actually halted vaccination drives, especially for the 18 to 44 age group, saying that they just don't have enough supplies. The Modi government has come under a lot of pressure by health experts and also by opposition parties now, who are demanding that the government start a mass vaccination drive and do it for free.
Let's now go over to Pearson to hear how he's taking you into the weekend on the Friday edition of Mornin Barbados. Pearson?
This morning, will you join me? We'll be updating you on what's been happening with Monique Barrow, that chef who has entered an international competition. How did she do? She'll tell us just about that. We'll also today be connecting with the Barbados Accreditation Council. What are some of their services that we can all partake in? We'll hear from them and one of their quality assurance officers. And today we'll also introduce you to the book Kingstown Burning. What's that about? The author will join us right here on Morning Barbados. Back to you, Shane.
Thank you, Pearson. Well, the legal age limit has been raised to 18 for drinking. We'll get some reaction after the break. The National Council on Substance Abuse has welcomed the idea of raising the legal drinking age from 16 to 18. The matter was recently part of debate on the liquor license bill in the lower house of Parliament, and the bill is set to be debated by the Senate. The Council's Deputy Manager, Troy Wickham, says lawmakers have made the right step.
We at the Council, we are fully supporting the move from the government to move the age from 16 to 18 years old. This is supported by the evidence we have found. And now recently conducted a primary school survey where over 56% of the students who participated in this survey, which focused on class 3 and class 4 students, reported some use of substances, with just over half of these students actually said they use alcohol in the last year, and 26% actually said they use it in the last month. And this is of grave concern for us at the Council.
Meanwhile, the NCSA manager, Betty Hunt, also welcomes the age shift. noting alcoholism has been one of the areas which people between the ages of 13 and 71 have been seeking help for at the NCSA's counseling sessions.
We have been seeing people coming not only for general cannabis use, alcohol, but polysubstance use disorder when they're using more than one substance. They're coming for anger management. They're coming for adjustment issues, family issues, especially over the last year. We've had a case of ecstasy. So those are the things that we have seen persons coming to counseling for.
While income tax filing time is almost over for yet another year, the issue of tax deductions for pensions is one that continues to be pushed by investment entities like Fortress Fund Managers. Fortress has long lobbied government to reintroduce the situation where pension funds can be included among the list of tax deductibles as an incentive for more Barbadian workers to contribute to pension funds.
We remain hopeful for that, but there's no sign yet that there's going to be restored, and it's a great pity to watch because people are not contributing to their registered retirement savings plans. They're not really opening, new pension fund accounts, and it's a great pity. And you cannot, as we say repeatedly, you cannot catch back the years that are lost by contributing to your pension account. So with the incentives not there, people are not, money is a difficulty for everyone, and people are not saving as they should. But worse still, when you have a situation where you get no relief for adding to a pension account, but then you pay tax on it on the way out, it's the tax policy at least needs to be leveled so it's not a disincentive.
The search continues for two wanted men this morning who police say are considered armed and dangerous. They are both wanted for questioning in connection with a number of serious criminal matters. One of them is 22-year-old Dante Harding of Sergeant Street, St. John. Police say he's 6 feet tall with a dark complexion and slim build. He has a prominent forehead, small ears, small dark eyes, a broad nose, and thick dark lips. The other man is 21-year-old Nicholas Andre McIntosh, also of Sergeant Street. He too is of a dark complexion and has a slim build and a flat forehead. Any person with information relative to the whereabouts of these two men, you're asked to contact the nearest police station. The public is also reminded it is a serious offense to harbor or assist wanted persons. Any person caught committing this offense can be prosecuted. Over in Jamaica, an organization in St. Anne has reached out to the frontline workers there during Child Month, providing relief through free daycare services. More in this report.
In a time like this, when hundreds of schools, including daycares, are closed due to the pandemic, the business couple are grateful they are able to keep their doors open. It is why they have decided to extend their appreciation through offering free childcare services to essential workers for the month of May. Mr. Mesquita says the aim is to provide those on the front line some relief.
The doctors, the nurse, the firemen, the police, when we are at our home, in our warm homes, they are the ones who are out there serving our family, serving Jamaica, and to try and keep us safe.
The nursery and preschool provides up to 28 children with complimentary meals while catering to a variety of needs daily.
Students who are on online schooling and need assistance. If you are coming from Kingston, Westmoreland for maybe a little treat and you want a rest stop for your child, or you don't think that the child will be safe where you are going, you can just leave them with us and we will take great care of them.
Mrs. Mesquita says that she's heartened by the feedback from those who benefit.
We have a doctor. She has to go out there and deal with COVID on a daily basis, and to know that when she leaves her child is safe. It gives me joy.
Even them being able to do this, I am appreciative.
Mr. Mesquita says even though it's just for a month, He's happy they're able to contribute in some way. He believes if they get external support, they'll be able to extend it beyond May.
I don't have $1 million to give back to them, but the little that I have, we have decided to share with Jamaica.
Internationally, Israeli fighter jets have continued attacking high-rise buildings and other targets in the Gaza Strip as Israel boosted its deployment of troops and tanks near the besieged Palestinian enclave yesterday. Gaza's health ministry is reporting that 103 people, including 27 children, have been killed since the Israeli offensive began late on Monday. More than 580 others have been wounded.
A new wave of Israeli airstrikes has targeted the Hamas police academy, among other facilities that Israel says are being used to launch missile attacks on its cities. The Israeli bombardment has so far killed dozens of Palestinians. Israel says Hamas has fired up to 1,500 rockets into its territory over the past 3 days, killing several people. Sirens were heard in northern Israel and elsewhere, warning of more Hamas missiles. Israel's Iron Dome defense system was seen in action over the border with the Gaza Strip to intercept Palestinian rockets. Incoming international flights to Ben Gurion Airport near Tel Aviv were diverted to the southern airport of Ramon.
In sports, the 2021 Junior Pan American Games scheduled for Cali Valle, Colombia, have been postponed due to COVID-19. The event is being pushed back by about 3 months and will now take place between November 25th and December 5th. The games were originally scheduled to take place from September the 9th to the 19th. The General Secretary of the Barbados Olympic Association, Erskine Simmons, who is also a member of the Pan Am Sports Commission's Executive Board, says the postponement is necessary.
This came about as a result as a number of the Continental federations were experiencing challenges in hosting qualifiers, as well as due to the pandemic that is crippling most of the Latin American countries in the South, or for the Americas for that region. A number of qualifiers could not be held for various reasons throughout the year, and they were either postponed or cancelled. So it was felt that once the Colombian authorities had agreed to shift the dates, it would certainly give a two-pronged process in terms of, one, looking at having the Continental federations seeking to have qualifiers that were cancelled previously reviewed and seek to have those qualifiers, hence giving opportunities to athletes to qualify for the games. And secondly, hoping that the pandemic throughout the Americas would improve in such a way that through vaccination, the population of most of our residents in the Americas, that would eliminate or at least set some ease where a number of athletes and officials could attend the games in comfort. So hence the games were shifted. Of course, there's this issue of the unrest in Colombia. At that time, it wasn't as rampant as it is now. But we're hoping for the best. We're hoping that this will be rectified between now and then, and that we will have a good games. Hope to have the best athletes of the Americas compete for the first inaugural Junior Pan Am Games.
Time now to look at weather. It's partly cloudy on the outside. 27 degrees is our temperature. It's feeling a little warmer, like 29 degrees Celsius. The relative humidity this morning stands at 65%. The barometric pressure, 1014 millibars, and those winds are coming out of the east-southeast at 27 kilometers per hour. We'll see a low tide at 23 minutes after 11 this morning. The high tide will come our way at 4 minutes to 6 in the evening. Those seas are calm to moderate in open water. Swells are around the 2-meter mark and expected to increase. Today we'll get a mix of sunshine and clouds with a few brief isolated light showers. There is a haze outlook as a layer of slight dust will be visible across the island. Tonight it will be partly cloudy with a few brief isolated light showers. Over in the Lesser Antilles today and tonight, it will be fair to occasionally cloudy with a few brief scattered showers. Internationally, London getting some showers. Minimum temperature 9 degrees Celsius, not too cold. Getting up to 14 for Frankfurt, the maximum will be 15. Over to New York now. If you're heading there, it will be up to 28 degrees Celsius today in Boston, 27 the high. In Montreal, you're getting some showers and thunderstorms. Maximum temperature there 25 degrees Celsius, the minimum 12. And in Toronto, it will be up to 18 and as cool as 12 degrees Celsius. And that's it for the Friday edition of the Morning Report. I'm Shane Seeley. Morning Barbados starts now.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Barbados, get up. Good morning. Good morning, Barbados. Good morning. Good morning to you. Good morning. Morning, morning, morning. Good morning to you. Good morning. Morning, Barbados. Good morning. Good morning to you. Good morning. Morning, Barbados. Good morning. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Morning to you.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Friday. Isn't it great to just say the word Friday alone? Good having you company. I'm Pearson Bowen. This is Morning Barbados. To those of you on our Facebook stream, CBC Barbados, good morning to you. And also to those of you on our YouTube channel, Caribbean Broadcasting Corporation, spell it all out and you're good to go. Good morning to you as well. Welcome. Good having you company. This morning, we'll get to meet one of the newest voices to 98.1 The One. He'll join us. Yes, we'll introduce you to exactly who he is, and you'll get to hear his backstory as well. We'll also today be meeting with a man who stopped, by the way, to help another man, then for us to realize he too has his own trials and tribulations. He'll share that story with us in just a little while right here on Morning Barbados. And you get to meet the man who they consider to have been the real winner of The Voice UK 2018. He'll join us right here to talk to us a little bit about his musical journey and more. But let's get started by celebrating the very best of who we are, and we can find the best of who we are in every place on this earth. One of those places is the United States, and she came to us a couple months ago. We've been tracking her, and so she's back this morning to bring us up to date on what's been going on. Her name is Monique Barrow. Monique, good morning to you.
Hi, good morning.
How are you doing?
How are you?
I'm great, Chef Mo. How are you doing?
I am good, thank you.
You know, when you were on last, everybody from the Allen School climbed out of the woodworks and said, she's our girl, she went to school with us, and so they wanted to celebrate you. Yeah. And at the time, you were talking to us about this international competition of which you are a part, the favorite chef competition there, and we were rooting for you. How did you do?
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much. In my mind and in my heart, as I announced on social media, I consider myself the winner. And when I said that, I meant it from a place of confidence, being that I won primarily the hearts of my Barbadian people and persons that supported me throughout the contest. Initially, I placed 8th. So to me, that's even a bigger accomplishment because it was probably more than 200 chefs or so after I actually found out how many there were. So we placed 8th.
Yes.
I have to say we. Yes. So that was a really great accomplishment. So thank you to everybody that sent their votes continuously, voted daily, did the cash votes. It was amazing. It was overwhelming, to be honest.
Look at the dish on television right now on your screen. What's that dish, first of all, and was that the dish that took you to 8th place?
Well, that was one of them. I had to present multiple dishes on that page on my favorite chef. But that right there is whipped sweet potatoes, caramelized cipollini onions, grilled swordfish, and I did a mustard caviar with a herb oil. So that's what that was.
Listen, the juices are flowing already, Chef Mo, for real. And so how many dishes did you have to prepare to be a part of the final competition? How many?
Well, we just presented it via, because of COVID, we could not do it physically. So we just presented, came up with a dish, sent in the recipe or the dish itself, presented it via Zoom. And then we were going through eliminations via Zoom. So essentially they didn't get to try the dish, but visually and given the steps throughout the recipes, as professional chefs, I guess they kind of knew what they were looking for in
Yes,
terms
yes.
of presentation and flavor profiles.
Was the competition open to anyone everywhere, or was it just in your particular location?
It was everyone, everywhere, throughout the U.S., I would say, throughout the
Okay.
U.S.
Now,
Yeah.
oh, is this fish?
Yes,
Cheese,
that
oh,
is
bread.
stuffed flounder. That is crab stuffed flounder,
Mm-hmm.
and it's over a few pea ragu.
Mm-hmm. So
Yeah,
this,
so it has
I know from a very young age, when you were 9 or so, you were cooking up a storm for your family, your relatives, and all of that. But trying all of these different flavors and infusing it. Oh, stop it, Chef Mo! Look at what you're doing to me so early in the morning. Lord, what's this here? That wasn't duck, was it?
Yes, that one was duck. Yep, that one was duck, and it's served in a guajillo sauce, which is a spicy Mexican pepper that they use. It's smoky and spicy, and I just used what we call Chinese cabbage bok choy.
Mm. But infusing tastes and different flavors, how did you stumble upon all of these great things that you can do in the kitchen?
The mind is a ridiculous thing. I tell people it's a magnificent thing. And the same way how scientists come up with cures and medicines and different ways to go about, you know, inventing new things, you have to use your initiative the same way for food. So what I do personally is, because I was born and raised in Barbados, and we as Caribbean people usually use spices. What they're seasoned with abroad is usually salt and pepper.
Yes.
We don't do that.
Nope.
We use herbs, we use ginger, you know, so I implement all of those things. And my mom is a big fan of ginger, turmeric, and garlic. And if you know Mornin Barrow, everybody knows those are her 3 go-tos.
Yes.
So a lot of that I add to my food, and I try to always put a little piece of my Barbadian heritage or Caribbean heritage into my food. So that's how I go about coming up and creating different dishes.
It must be so interesting walking through a farmer's market with you, for real, to see just how you spot things.
Yes.
I'm sure
It
you spent
is a fun day.
significant time in the farmer's market.
Oh, yes, I do. I try to at least go twice a week because I'm often so busy. But that is my place of zen when I go to the farmer's market.
Wow.
That is my place of zen.
And then out of that comes everything else that you've been creating. So now you've gone through this
Yeah.
competition. Now you know you're an executive chef, the youngest at age 29 you became, you know, and everybody's eyes now are on you, Miss Chef Mo. How do you assess your achievement thus far, and what do you see to be your next short-term goal?
My next short-term goal, let me start with that. First and foremost, I am grateful and humble to be where I'm at today. And with that being said, it has led, you know, my career path has now led me to a place where I consider my dream job. So, my short-term goal right now is to basically achieve in my mind what I have set for this establishment, and continue to just perform at my best and give Atlanta, you know, the best of what I have to offer. And that includes coming up with culinary concepts for the establishment that I'm currently working at and with the persons that I'm currently working with, and just giving them the best of me, because I don't think there are any limits, especially when it comes to food. So what I plan to do after that is go into full-time consulting. I don't feel like I've reached my goal yet. I still have a lot more to learn. And my initial dream long-term then, or my goal long-term now, would be to do restaurant consulting for different businesses and upcoming businesses, because I don't think the food industry will ever stop. And I thought COVID would have shown the end of that, but it really didn't.
Nah, we eat. We're constantly eating.
You have to eat.
What I love is that, you know, you're taking your skills as a chef and as an executive chef as well, and you don't necessarily want to be the one forevermore being in the kitchen, but you're using it now to be a part of the administration of what you do. Do you think at any time we'll get to have your experience back on this rock?
Of course, definitely so. That is without a doubt. I will always grace Barbados with my presence and grace my home. There's no place like home. It is fun to stay in contact with my friends and peers and chef, associates and friends in Barbados. So I'm a good friend with Damien and Damien Leach and Craig, and we stay in contact. And Philip Casanova, that bartends, all of us, we stay in contact. So and Chef Damien Reed. So we stay, networking. So with me staying in contact with these guys, and we also all went to Palmerine together and Allen School. So me staying in contact with these guys. Actually 2 years ago when I was in Barbados, I hit up Damien and I was like, "Hey, can I come play?" And he know what that means.
Yes.
That means, can I have a place at your kitchen to just do whatever? And Damien was like, "Sure, of course, more anytime." So, and just to stay in contact with those guys shows me that I will always have a place.
Always.
Will I like to open my own business? Not quite. Consulting on one? Absolutely.
Clearly, you have a very strong focus. Have you ever introduced, to you, the place where you work, pudding and sauce?
No, I have not.
Why not?
Funny enough, the co-owner and chef of the restaurant that I'm working at, Mission and Market, Chef Ian Winslade, he's a well-renowned British chef. And, with the British influence, a lot of what I know, he knows, obviously.
Yes.
So his concept of those things is implemented in some way. But the way how the food is prepared now is more so modern and fine dining. So I would have to now find a way to uniquely redefine pudding and sauce, if you get what I'm saying.
Yes, and that is your challenge, Monique.
Maybe that should be my challenge.
And maybe one day you get you infuse some way the breadfruit and the saltfish. You find a way to introduce them to our palates and our tastes as well.
They've already tried fish cakes, but you have to make it pretty. So you said codfish fritters.
Change the name, like Mahi Mahi.
Yes,
listen,
exactly.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Monique Barrow, it is such a pleasure talking to you, and we're so proud of you.
Pearson.
8th place makes us feel like place number 1, for real. Honestly, to know that you've done so well among so many. And you come in the top 10, Monique, that is an achievement indeed that we continue to celebrate, and we will continue to celebrate your achievements as well. As I will say, stay in touch, because we want to be able to track where you're going.
Yes,
and
definitely.
One day
and I thank you guys for having me.
You're welcome. One day you'll come into this studio and you're going to whip up one of your delicious delights for us, all right?
Just for you. Just for you, Pearson.
Yes. Thank you, Monique. Have a great day. Thank you for joining.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Have a great day, everybody.
Likewise. Thank you. Monique Barrow herself, Chef Mo. They call her at 29. She was the first and the youngest black executive chef in the United States in Atlanta. And so we celebrate her today. We're going to take a break right here. We're coming back with more on Morning Barbados.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you. Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
It's now 15 minutes to the hour of 7 o'clock here on Morning Barbados this Friday morning. Let's introduce you now to Karen Collins, who is a Quality Assurance Officer with the Barbados Accreditation Council. Ms. Collins, good morning to you.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
Sir Pearson will do nicely, thank you. I'm well, thank you so much for asking. Now listen, let's get an overview broadly from you of what is the Barbados Accreditation Council, and then specifically what is your role as Quality Assurance Officer there?
The Barbados Accreditation Council has two broad roles. The first one is to register and re-register post-secondary and tertiary level educational providers, and to accredit and re-accredit their programs as well, the institutions and their programs. Our second broad role is to issue the Certificate of Recognition of CARICOM skills to CARICOM nationals, and also to examine and verify those certificates of recognition which would have been issued by other member states. So those are our two broad roles.
Right. And now, as a Quality Assurance Officer?
Yes. As Quality Assurance Officer, my role, our role, is to do all of the activities related to that. What we would do is to really work with our educational providers who wish to register or to pursue accreditation to help them to get that done successfully. And it is a journey, and we work with them to get that done. We also carry out the research and investigations for those certificates of recognition of CARICOM skills. We also work on some of the other services which we offer, which would be recognition of institution or program, as well as recognition of qualifications. So it's quite a bit that we do.
Yes, clearly. Now, there's some who are saying, but why is it important for me to be registered and accredited? What would you say to that?
Registration is the first step, and it's a very important step. What that means is that you have met certain standards to operate in Barbados. And it means that your operations have achieved a certain level of legitimacy and credibility because you have gone through this process against those standards.
And so it no doubt would bring for the user of your services some degree of comfort, knowing that when we come to the Barbados Accreditation Council, we are going to get legit responses, so to speak, that we avoid instances where people are going to take us for a ride. So for the student, let's talk a little bit about the student, why it's important for the student to get involved and to register and be accredited with that council, the Accreditation Council.
Well, it's not the student
necessarily
who would register. No, it's the educational institution. But what that does, the benefits are twofold. One, the institution is able to say, look, you are interested in entering a quality institution, an institution that has been evaluated against certain standards and has met those standards or exceeded them. And when you come to us, you are getting a quality education. And that's the assurance for the student that where we are going, it's legitimate, it's credible, my qualification will be valid. And so the benefits are twofold for the organization who has to register, and also for the student, because ultimately the focus is on the student, the customer. We want to ensure that any student in Barbados who goes to any educational provider, that they are receiving a quality education that has met required standards.
And the same thing would hold true for the employer, because when that individual comes to my organization saying, I have accreditation in whatever, the employer has to have a place of comfort knowing that that particular qualification advanced is legitimate?
Yes, definitely. So the benefits are there for everyone. And even as a country, it augurs well for the country as well, because it says that the institutions that we have in this country are meeting international standards.
Do you get a lot of inquiries coming in from employers, though, about the certificates that are presented to them?
We do get some, but mostly it is the student who will come. It will probably most likely come, especially for our recognition of qualification service. Those customers will come because they want a job somewhere and it might have been queried. And so when we do a recognition of qualification, we say to that person and likely their employer that this qualification which was pursued and attained is credible. It comes from a credible, accredited institution.
And so therefore you're allaying any fear of any fraudulent activity, because there are courses available in every space on the earth, it seems like now, particularly online. And
Yes.
so anyone can put up a web page portal that looks legitimate, but at the end of it is not necessarily legitimate. How can the Barbados Accreditation Council help me to avoid any fraudulent activity of mine really in going that route?
As I said, Pearson, what we do is engage in research. We have several partners all over the world that we are able to connect with to carry out our investigations, and they from time to time connect with us when they need to carry out their own investigations. And so we start that process when someone comes and they make an application. We start the process then of doing the research, reaching out to who we need to reach out to find out about the recognition or accreditation status of any program or institution that has been brought before us. And we are able to get that information and provide it to our clients.
It's a very important service that you're rendering there where that's concerned. It's critical that we do check it out before we start to shell it out, our monies, that is.
Yes.
So how long is that process, having come to you and said, you know, I'd like you to do a little bit of investigation into this particular program or this particular service provider? How long after would I have to wait to hear from you?
We say a minimum of 40 working days, and I'll explain this to you. As I said earlier, we have to reach out to organizations, partner institutions all over the world, and we have qualifications from all over the world to different languages, etc. And so we are dependent on response times, sometimes language barriers, etc. But we are dependent on how and when those other institutions respond to us. And I can tell you, especially that in this COVID time, where many people are working remotely, those times have increased because of the way people are communicating, etc., and the access they may have. So, especially now at this time, it has that time has been prolonged. But we say a minimum of 40 working days, and our aim is to do it before that.
Yes, yes. You want to exceed my expectation by coming back sooner rather than later. We were just sharing your web page with our viewers on the screen just a moment ago, because there's so much we can access through coming that portal. So let's talk a little bit about, once we come to your website, and in providing a bit of information. I saw there just now, we can see a list of accredited associations with which you work, and the level of degree that one can access coming out of that particular program with those associations. So what else and how else can we begin to be settled in our mind that we're on the right path towards accreditation?
Well, the website is definitely a good place to start. And be mindful, though, that on the website you will see those who have completed their registration. However, there are others who may be in the process that you won't see there. It does not mean that they are not in the process, but they wouldn't be there because it hasn't been finalized yet. So you can also call the Barbados Accreditation Council and make applications if there is any other institution outside of the country that you need to find out about.
Right.
Yes.
And so you will accredit us, you will allow us to be able to, well, you would assess our offering and you'll be able to accredit us from there. The forms, though, because, you know, it's well and good, we can either physically walk in, distancing protocols observed, but we can also ourselves download those forms and upload them back to you for processing.
I don't think that facility is there yet for you to upload them back to us. We are working on that. I believe next week our information officer, Marcus Myers, might be able to speak to you more about that aspect of it.
But the ability to be able to start the process, we can do so by downloading the forms.
You can definitely do so by downloading the forms, yes.
All right. So we can either physically
walk in. And you can call us, yes.
Can we physically walk in
and get a form as well? And if you need any information, you can give us a call and we can help you, because that is really our job, to help you understand, because very often people will say that it's quite a detailed process, and when they see the information they may get a little flustered, etc. But our job really is to assist them, to facilitate their understanding and their completion of the form.
Right, so you walk with us, you hold our hand through the process as well. That's great. How difficult or easy is it as a CARICOM skilled to be able to access the CARICOM skilled certificate?
It is actually quite, I don't want to say easy, but you come in and you make your application, the relevant checks are done, and we say that you can have your certificate of recognition within 7 working days.
Ah, that's quick. That's very quick. So it's good to hear that. So clearly there's much more that we should be talking about with you guys at the Barbados Accreditation Council, because you bring comfort in knowing that we can and that our certification allows us to be able to achieve so much more. I want to thank you today, Ms. Collins, Karen Collins, the Quality Assurance Officer with the Barbados Accreditation Council. Of course, to be continued. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. Have a great weekend, Karen.
Thanks. You too, Pearson.
Thank you.
And thanks for having us.
She called me Pearson at the end. Thank you very much. Have a good day now. Bye-bye. So let's get ready for our good decision of the day today, brought to you by Glucerna. Remember, Glucerna has all of those nutrients to support your immune system. We say today to talk to yourself like a trusted friend. I do that often. When faced with a tough choice, ask yourself, what would I say to a friend who has this problem? The answer comes to you more readily when you're imagining yourself offering wisdom to someone else. Talking to yourself like a trusted friend takes some of the emotion out of the equation. It helps you to gain some distance from the decision and gives you an opportunity to be a little more objective. When you make self-compassion a daily habit, your decision-making skills will improve. Make self-compassion a daily habit today. Talk to yourself like a trusted friend. That's our good decision of the day, brought to you by Glucerna, with those nutrients to support your immune system. We'll take a break right here and back with more.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you. Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
It's the top of the hour. Let's take another look at news now. Once again, here's Shane Seeley.
Yes, Pearson. Here's your 7 a.m. headline news for Friday, and the Barbados Secondary Teachers Union declares it cannot be business as usual going into another week of this third school term following the recent COVID-19 scare at the Ellerslie School. President Marianne Redmond is calling on health and education officials to consider some new guidelines, including face-to-face classes for exam students only for now and strict adherence to the 6-foot social distancing rule in schools. Here's what she told the Morning Report.
Our contention is that the more children you have, the greater the possibility of infection spreading from child to child, from child to parent, to teacher, from teacher to students, etc. And we are of the firm belief that as it stands, we can manage more safely the exam classes at this point in time. They are our priority. The others can continue with online instruction, and when these exam classes go off, which should be by the end of May, early June, then you phase back in the rest of the school in a way that protects everyone as best as we can.
Meanwhile, BSTU member Leslie Lett remains concerned that students are flouting the COVID-19 protocols and are not wearing masks as they should. He also explains for distancing in schools to be reduced to 3 feet, a number of other COVID measures must be enforced.
The CDC speaks of 3 feet in the classroom in the context of cohorting. That is not done in Barbados. It speaks of the 3 foot, the move to the 3 foot distancing in the context of full vaccination of teachers. That's another preventive measure, a layer, that is not achieved in Barbados yet. It speaks of the 3 foot distancing in classrooms in the context of the provision of adequate sanitization supplies. Many teachers would tell you that there are classrooms that do not have the sanitation supplies, the spray. We used to have them in the first term when there was no community spread as there is now, when there was no pop of the clusters as there is now, when there were no variants as there is now. So we have a worse situation now, a more precarious situation now, but yet we have less protection than we had in the first term.
In other news, Prime Minister Mia Moore-Motley has announced that the provisions of the Emergency Management COVID-19 Directive No. 9 that's currently in place will be continued in Directive No. 10 for the most part, which will come into effect from Tuesday, May 18th. However, there will be some modifications. The physical distancing requirement for places of religious worship will be 3 feet in each direction instead of 6 feet. Fraternal organizations, private or social clubs, civic associations and organizations, as well as political organizations, may resume meetings providing the protocols of mask wearing, sanitization and physical distancing are strictly followed, and that the maximum number of persons attending is limited to 100 people unless special exemption is granted. In all other aspects, all of the other prohibitions contained in Directive No. 9 relating to parties and the like will continue to be enforced. The drive-in and cinemas may open every day, subject to the existing agreed protocols, while photographers and videographers will be allowed to operate daily. The new directive will cover the period May 18th to June 7th, 2021. 2 females tested positive for COVID-19 yesterday, and that's out of the 520 tests conducted by the Best dos Santos Public Health Lab. Meanwhile, 29 people recovered from the virus and were discharged, leaving 90 in isolation. Barbados has recorded 3,959 confirmed cases of COVID-19. That's 1,913 females and 2,046 males. 75,724 people have been vaccinated, and of that number, 38,919 have received both doses. And in news from police, the search continues this morning for 2 wanted men who lawmen say should be considered armed and dangerous. They're both wanted for questioning in connection with a number of serious matters. One of them is 22-year-old Dante Harding of Sargent Street, St. John. Police say he's 6 feet tall, of dark complexion, and has a slim build. The other man is 21-year-old Nicholas Andre McIntosh, also of Sargent Street. He's of dark complexion and slim build as well. Any person with information on the whereabouts of the two is asked to contact the nearest police station. The public is also reminded it is a serious offense to harbor or assist wanted people. Any person caught doing this is committing an offense and can be prosecuted. And that's your 7 a.m. headline news. I'm Shane Seeley. Back over to you, Pearson.
Thank you, Shane. It's now 6 minutes after 7 o'clock. The Crumbs question of the day comes up after this break.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you. Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
We're approaching 8 minutes now after 7 o'clock on this Friday morning. Time for you to have a chance to win today with us with Crumbs Bakery. Why? Because it's time for the Crumbs question of the day. You get now on your phone, call us on 228-5562 or 228-5563 to correctly answer our Crumbs question of the day. What is that Crumbs question today? The question is, where is the exact location of Crumbs Bakery's head office? Where is the exact location of Crumbs Bakery's head office? You know? I hope you know. Well, if you think you know, call us on 228-5562 or 228-5563 to correct the answer and tell us where is the exact location of Crumbs Bakery's head office. And remember, Crumbs is delicious right down to the very last crumb. And when you go to Crumbs Bakery today, you are going to find on that list of things everything that you're looking for. So try it today. Crumbs Bakery. There's bread. There are also some other kinds of products as well. So try the cakes too. Crumbs Bakery, 228-5562 or 228-5563 to tell us just where is Crumbs' location of their head office. Tell me, tell us, and you become a winner today. A little later on, coming up today as well, we'll be introducing you to a brand new voice on 98.1 The One, a young man who's going to be occupying your time and attention on the weekends on 98.1 The One, Saturday and Sunday. He kicks it off. And certainly as we have launched out our Boss campaign, we're now 1 week in, you have opportunities to enjoy something fresh, something brand new with 98.1 The One every single day. One of those new things would be in the introduction of our conversations with the artists. We started last night. It'll continue weekly. You get a chance to hear the artists from Barbados, the artists from across the region as well. So don't miss the change in programming, the change in lineup, the changes happening on 98.1 The One. And, you know, you're entitled to feedback. Tell us what you think. Not to me, but feedback to the corporation, indeed, to tell us what you think. So get on the phone. Get a chance to win this morning with Crumbs Bakery. The question is, where is the exact location of Crumbs Bakery's head office? And good luck to you, indeed. The numbers to call or 228-5562 or 228-5563. Also coming up today, we'll read the book Kingstown Burning. And I know when you hear the word Kingstown, right away you are thinking of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and so much is happening there. But it's a book. It's a fictional book. It's not a real thing. So for those of you who are thinking, oh my goodness, what's happening? Why is St. Vincent being impacted in all of these ways? No, it's a fictional novel. We'll get to talk to the author a little bit about her thinking behind writing Kingstown Burning, and who are the fictional characters in there, and how do their lives interrelate, and how does it make a big difference to our lives and our space today. We'll be talking to her in just a little bit. We'd also be meeting today the man who everyone thought was the real winner of The Voice UK in 2018. He will be connecting with us. Born out of Barbados, grew up and went to school in Barbados, and then went on to The Voice in the UK and represented us as well as Caribbean people. We'll be talking to him a little later on as well. We're going to take a break, and we're coming back with more.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you. Morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
It's 30 minutes after the hour now. Let's see if we have a winner for our Crumbs question of today. That Crumbs question, as you know, is where is the exact location of Crumbs Bakery's head office? Where is the exact location of Crumbs Bakery's head office? Let's see if you know. What is the answer? If you didn't know, let's tickle your fancy to let you know. They're located at number 11 Wildy St. Michael. The head office of Crumbs Bakery will be found at number 11 Wildy St. Michael. Wesley Nicholas knew that. The man with the two first names again. Wesley Nicholas. Congratulations to you, Wesley. You know what to do. I don't have to explain it yet again to you. But Wesley, you're absolutely right. Number 11, Wildy St. Michael, is the exact location of the headquarters of Crumbs Bakery. Wesley, you've done very well. You are quite a winner. So you clearly can tell everybody about all of the things that Crumbs Bakery has to offer and just how really good it is, down to the very last crumb. So Wesley Nicholas, you're absolutely right. The head office of Crumbs Bakery is located at number 11, Wildy in St. Michael. Well done, my friend. All right, so another question will come your way on Monday for an opportunity for you to win with Crumbs Bakery. And when you go in, you really take your time to browse the menu. Look at the list of everything. I know you'd want to try everything, but everything in moderation, of course. But every day, you can go to Crumbs Bakery for the freshest in bread and cakes and pastries. And of course, they're absolutely affordable as well. As you know, you can get like 10 salt breads, enough salt breads, for just a little bit of money. And when you do so, I'm sure you'll find a way to enjoy it all on the weekend. For me, a salt bread with some good cheese on bread. Add some ham to that as well, cheese on bread. Now we're talking stuff right there. And for you cake lovers as well, they have all sorts of really good cakes. You get it in slices, pieces of pone, you get buy it. Crumbs Bakery indeed. And there you go. They're off a wide variety of delicious freshly baked treats 7 days a week. It is really, really good. Look at that. Look at those midweek rumble, that horseshoe and jump off. Those of you who like that kind of thing, you're good to go. You can also get something delicious if you're celebrating as well. And they can provide it with you. They are located at Eagle Hall, Sheraton, Fairchild Street. Those are all locations open. Wildy, Roebuck Street, Oistins, Victoria Street, Speightstown, Welchman Hall, My Lord's Hill, Wildy, Fairview, Pinfold Street, Hastings, Dover, Time Out in the Gap. Lord have mercy, they're everywhere. And they're open from 7 in the morning, sometimes till quite late in the evening as well. And at Dover, you can sit down there and you can have some coffee at Crumbs Bakery. So check them out today. All right, let's continue now. Kingstown Burning. When I saw that, I thought, what's that about? She's here. Rachel Gray is the author of Kingstown Burning. Rachel, good morning to you.
Hi, good morning, Pearson. Hi, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. Good to see you again. Tell me about this Kingstown Burning. What an interesting novel.
Wow, yes, it's my debut novel. It's an action adventure ganja fiction, essentially, based here in Barbados and the Southern Caribbean.
Yeah. You could have written on anything about anywhere, but you chose instead to focus on this fictional story. So tell us about the characters in the book and how their lives perhaps mirror ours.
Well, we have the three leading ladies, Nubia, Ayam, and Marley Cadogan. They're essentially friends who find themselves caught in, they get caught up in this web with this whole thing with the ganja war. And in this book, you basically get to see how easy it is, how much a part of the fabric, I would say, the whole marijuana industry is, and how integral ganja is to our lives, even when we think that we're not even involved with it directly, how it's impacting people around us. So essentially, we explore that on a quest. We go on a quest, have to find an obeah man to help and, resolve things. It's an awesome story.
Yes. So typically, there are families who are struggling with people who are addicted to in whatever way or the other, whether they are the dealer or the recipient. And so this book delves into that in interesting ways, looking at those interrelationships and how people find creative ways to find their way out of those conditions as well.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it's not even the people that you would normally suspect who are actually in this thing, You, for lack of a better description, sometimes it's the person that looks like a normal civil servant who is actually doing the most dirt. So this book kind of shows you that, it's not always what you think, and you enjoy a good read on the way.
Somebody tells me so indeed. Look at the cover. It's called Kingstown Burning. Why is it called Kingstown Burning?
So we have one of our protagonists, I would say Judah. And Judah is actually, in the book, he's from St. Vincent. And, there's a close relationship between many Barbadians and Vincentians as well. Caribbean people, we're all interwoven into each other. And I think the play on Kingstown Burning comes from the fact that a chunk of the story focuses on him and his involvement in the ganja trade. Actually, I'll give away a little thing. He is the person who creates the catalyst for what's going to happen and all the action and everything. So he's the fire, essentially. Judah is the fire. And wow, what a fire he is. So, yeah, that's what
for
it
sure,
is.
you can feel the heat when you read between the pages of Kingstown Burning. I see there on the screen that it's available everywhere in most formats. So tell us how we can access it and in what formats.
Okay, so worldwide, if you're at Amazon.com, you can get both the ebook copy as well as a paperback. But I'm here in Barbados, and I'm so happy to announce that on Island, the book is now available. I mean, this means a lot to me. I really want to thank the bookstores, because Days Bookstore and Black Rock Bookstore, they're both carrying Kingstown Burning, and I really appreciate that support. That's what we need in the arts. When we as creatives create work, it's really beautiful to know that distributors and retailers, that there's a platform for our work to be seen.
Yes.
So, yeah, definitely Days. And you can go to my website, RachelJGray.com, on my social media, and it leads you to all the different links: Walmart, Amazon, Barnes and Nobles, those famous names, as well as our very own Days and Black Rock Books. Which, can I say this? Yes. On Saturday, right? Oh my goodness, on Saturday, I will be at Black Rock Books doing a signing as well. So when you come to purchase your book, I will be there to autograph a copy for you, you know, maybe answer a question or two, you know, whatever you're not. But yeah, between the hours of 12 and 3 p.m., I'll be at Black Rock Books, and that's in Black Rock, across from the Lazaretto, essentially that road that would take you down to Bats Rock. It's right there. You'll see the sign. So that's this Saturday. Yes, this Saturday at Black Rock.
As in tomorrow.
This Saturday sounds like next week. Like in tomorrow. Yes, as in tomorrow. Like, you know, see me today and be like, yo, let's go get her book tomorrow. Yes.
Yes. Tomorrow between 12 and 3 in the afternoon.
Yeah.
I was reading a little blurb on your book. You said now she must question her loyalty to her beliefs, and with her squad set out on a quest that will determine if there can be honor among thieves. Wow, that's powerful indeed. And you know, what I love is that you're able to write it from the female's perspective, because oftentimes you hear of the men more so getting involved in this kind of activity. But here it is. Is there any honor among thieves for females? What an interesting dichotomy.
It is. And it's something that, you know, we have to ask ourselves. I think one thing I love the most about Kingstown Burning is that it really made me question not only myself, but humankind, our nature as people, our relationships, the relationships that we have. Because many of us are good people. Many of us believe ourselves to be good people. We do good things. But then, like, what happens when you end up where you never thought you would be? Like, you know, am I a thief? Am I a bad person?
Wow.
So in writing the book, one thing that definitely came to mind was the fact that, because there was a moment when I was struggling with the villain. Like, how do I develop my villain? I didn't want to bring evil into this world, because when you're creating art, you are conjuring. And who are these people that I'm going to conjure into my existence, into our existence, you know? So I was like really battling with that. And then it dawned on me, you know, we're all someone's villain. Like it or not, right now, there's someone who is like, oh my God, Pearson is the worst, Rachel is the worst. You know, no matter what we do, there's going to be someone there doing that. So then I realized that being a villain isn't about being evil. Being a villain is probably about what your relationship with someone else is like, if it's not in a good standing. But not that you have to be an evil person to do, you know, or do bad things. Just sometimes the things you do can lead to bad results.
You know, you're very fortunate because you're such a creative woman, you know, as a photographer, a writer, a feature, everything. And so you've been places and you've met people who have different experiences. How much of all of what you've been able to do so far in the places you've been, how much of that has been pouring into your soul, your spirit, your whole body? Yeah, you poured out into the book.
Well, what people don't know is that this book was finished in 2018. I wrote this book. I finished it in 2018. Then I got on a plane. I finished it in like August and got on a plane in November. I was like, I'm going to see Senegal. I'm going to West Africa. So I left. I wrote this book. I sat with it. I made sure, because it was something that I've been working on for a while. And I kind of say, you know, Rochelle, you're at a certain age, a certain place, you're in a certain environment. Like, just finish the book. Like, just put it out there. So I sat myself down. And then there was also a catalyst. There was a situation where I ended up with 2 months where I had nothing to do because of a contract issue. So I had 2 months of nothing to do. And I was like, you know what? Why don't I be my own client? And what is it that I have that's unfinished work? And I sat with my book for those 2 months, and I call it my residency, I guess, because I'm like, now I know, I'm like, okay, this is what a writer residency feels like. It's just like you just write and write and write. And yeah, it's just like, I lost my train of thought.
but what I'm trying to figure out, though, is how do you know when you've finished? How do you know? Because writing, and then how do you know you're done?
I knew I was done when I got to the point where I was like, okay, you know what? This other information is going in the other book. That's when I knew I was done. I was like, no, because if I put this in here, I'm going to have to write so much more to support how these other scenes came about and their relationships and blah, blah, blah. So I was like, this is a good ending point right here. Let's end it right here. So it ends powerful. And one of the things that a lot of bookstagrammers, because I've been blessed to have There's a whole #ReadCaribbean movement where like ladies, people in general across the entire diaspora, Caribbean diaspora, are reading Caribbean literature.
Yes.
And we have Barbadian bookstagrammers, regional bookstagrammers in the UK and the US who are out there looking for regional literature and want to get to know what is more, you know, about what we're doing and who's writing. So like, yeah, I had time to sit, and the bookstagrammers all said to me, you know, really and truly, we love the book, but we feel like there's going to be a part 2. And that's a lot of the feedback. And I'm like, yeah, there is going to be probably a part 2 and a 3 and a 4. So yeah, there's I don't know. It just happens.
Do you feel the pressure though? You know, the expectation now of you to have at least a part 2. Is that pressure on you?
It is pressure. I won't lie and tell you, oh no, I got it covered. No, it is pressure because at least I know what I want to have in there. I know the ingredients that I want to cook with. The thing is now I got to try to figure out what am I cooking up this time around? Because the first time around I knew what I wanted to bring into this world. Now I'm like, okay, so what direction is this going? Where will I take my readers? So that's a great concern because to me, as an artist, as a creative, you're as good as your last work. Yes. So my next work has to trump this work. So I want to sit with it and give it my all and be open to what comes to me and then create like an awesome second part. Yeah,
I just love it.
Definitely.
I just love it. Kingstown Burning is what it's called. Again, if you want Rachel Gray to autograph your book tomorrow, there at Blackrock Books, you can find her between 12 noon and 3 in the afternoon. Again, give us a direction as to how to find this location.
Oh, Blackrock Books is awesome when you're ahead. It's right across from the Lazaretto. On the main road, you'll see a sandwich board that says Blackrock Books, and it's like right by the street that would take you down to Bass Rock Beach. So if you go swimming to Bass Rock Beach, you will know how to get down there. Like, oh, yeah, so that's where it is. It's close. It's very
really,
close.
really fantastic. It's available everywhere. It's available in a couple bookstores, including Blackrock Books and Days. And it's also available online. You can go to rachel.gray.com.
No, RachelJGray.com. RachelJGray.com.
Thanks
and everything is there. All my social media, everything is there. You can follow me at Lady Gray's World. So yeah.
Fantastic. Rachel, I wish you every success with this, your first novel. And of course, we stand ready with you for the second and the third and the fourth and on and on and on thereafter. Thank you for joining us. Best of luck.
Okay. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. Such an enlightening spirit, her name, Rachel Gray. The book, Kingstown Burning. Why should you get it? Because it's a great read. Why should you get it? You're also supporting our own local novelists as well. All right. 28 minutes after 7 o'clock. We haven't even had a chance to get yet to our great question to our childhood obesity campaign. So let's take a break, and when we come back, you get a chance to win with the Heart and Stroke Foundation of Barbados.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
.30 time for you to win now with the Barbados Heart and Stroke Foundation of Barbados, brought to you with their childhood prevention. We're looking at the quiz right now, folks. Remember, this is all in celebration of Child Month 2021, the Heart and Stroke Foundation's childhood obesity prevention program, bringing greater awareness to good health and nutrition for our children. So Time to get calling now. 228-5562 or 228-5563. This is a simple question, but I'm not going to make it that easy for you. So give me a call, 228-5562 or 228-5563. The question is, what fruit a day keeps the doctor away? What fruit a day keeps the doctor away? Let's see. I mean, this is so simple, Simon, it's not even funny. 228-5562 or 228-5563. Let's see if you're on the phone. Good morning.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Hi, there you are. What's your first name, sir?
Kyle,
Kyle. How old are you, Kyle?
26.
Kyle, you're what? 26?
Yes, please.
For real? Do you have children?
No, please.
Okay, Kyle. So, but you understand that we need to watch out for our children and control what they consume because we're working on childhood obesity, correct?
Yes, please.
So what would you recommend to a parent today, Kyle, that they ought to start to do to reduce what it is that would encourage their children to be obese? What would you recommend?
To cut out the fast food and let her eat more healthy and exercise during the day.
That sounds like great advice, Kyle. Are you doing any of the things that you've just said?
Yes, please.
Are you considered a thin child or a chubby child?
I'm average.
So you've midway?
Yes, please.
Fair enough, Kyle. I wouldn't tease you any further. So, what is that fruit that keeps the doctor away?
Apple.
How do you know that?
Because when I was growing up all the time, or whenever I was growing up, my mother always would tell me an apple a day keeps the doctor away.
And did you believe her?
Yes, please.
And if you believed her, did you try it?
I eat an apple almost every day.
You serious?
Yes, please.
Kyle, don't joke with me. You eat an apple almost every day?
Yes, please.
Why? Because of that faith that an apple a day keeps the doctor away?
Fruits is always something that is always in the house here, so.
Very good. So when you're snacking, it's a fruit that you reach to first?
Yes, please.
Kyle, is it a fruit that you reach to first?
Yes, please.
I hope you're not saying that because you're on TV, you know, man.
No, please.
But you're doing very well, Kyle. You're absolutely right. That nursery rhyme has stood you in good stead today, that an apple a day keeps the doctor away. Kyle, well done. And when you get your children, I hope you are reminding them that an apple a day will keep the doctor away, okay?
Yes, please.
All right, Kyle, just stay on the phone. Don't put down, and someone will be talking with you because Kyle correctly said to us today that an apple a day keeps the doctor away, and that's what we want to remind you today. So, like Kyle, consider having fruit as the snack option for your children and incorporate it as a part of their daily regime so that as they grow, that's exactly what it is. It's just a habit. It's just a really good habit, as a matter of fact. And it starts even with the children, as the Heart and Stroke Foundation of Barbados looks at childhood obesity prevention. And so every day in the month of May, we'll be bringing you that quiz. More on Monday. Well done. Man now who, you know, he's such a good Samaritan, and in talking about him and celebrating him as a good Samaritan, we found out more. His name is Wingrove Thomas. Wingrove, good morning. Good to see you again.
Good morning, sir.
How are you feeling today, Wingrove?
I'm feeling blessed.
See, the man is so positive, it's just not funny. So, Wingrove, the last time we met is because we were celebrating you as one of our unsung heroes who, as you were going by, saw another man in need, you stopped to help him in need. And then, in talking about that, you shared with us that you are also yourself having your own particular life challenge. What is that?
You know, in life, there are the ups and downs, and coming out as a youngster, you know, I always was a fit person and doing all the best things that I can, and, you know, running about and going from one place to another. And a couple of years back then, about in 2016, 17, I had a area, and, you know, as I was in the different force at the point of time, I have seen the doctor there. While I seen the doctor there, I had a swelling in the prostate area. You know, as a youngster, you don't get let into these things, and having family that had had some of these challenges before, you know, you decide to, you know, look into it some more. But by doing that, I was made to understand that it's not really a aggressive cancer at the point of time. You know, so Being that was the case, I went back to my doctor, had some more kind of stuff on it, and then realized that the swelling had become cancerous in 2017. On that note, there were some discussions and, what different treatments with the prostate, how it should be done, because I never knew that I had this problem. And some of the symptoms were having pains in my back. There were, when I go to pass water, the water was slow in coming. I get a lot of uncomfortable feelings. So to realize that not only these symptoms are also cancerous, but some of these symptoms could be a sign of gallstones as well. That pay attention to, because you might get this soreness, you might get a lot of pains, and you might consider it one thing where there is something else. So after all that was done, I talked to my family and whatnot, I decided in about 2018 to get the book. Things are doing great and doing blessed.
Wingrove, it's a diagnosis none of us necessarily wants to hear. And as you said, you didn't even know. You just noticed some changes, but oh well, that's part of life. And so when you heard the news and the diagnosis was, Mr. Thomas, it's prostate cancer, it is cancerous. How did you respond to that news at that time?
Well, that was a game changer for me at that time. I actually sat down in the office and, it was like, everything started to change. I'm going to eat from now, I'm going to be with my social life, I'm going to, invest my family with this. And, I could not, at that time, I never expect that would happen to me. I was on the street, I was on the boat, I was dating properly. I have like that. Don't care what you do. There are things that are just for you, and things that I have to go back to the drawing table and look at a whole different, aspect of things. And it was hard. It was very hard.
As I said, I sit here and I'm thinking, what if it were me? How would I respond? How would I react? But you stopped and you said you discussed it with your family, and how did they receive the news?
Well, like anything else, like I said, a game changer. They didn't, take it easy, because here I was, young in age, going out there, doing my normal thing, and then to hear that a family member have this, you begin to wonder what next. Have it. You begin to wonder, what are we going to do? So the doing part is then, I get into counseling, then I start doing my own research, and then I get to get a whole idea about this prostate cancer. And by doing that, then I start, listening to people, listening to doctors, doing more research as we go along, so that I can be able to handle it in the easiest way for me.
Does it scare you?
Well, at first it did, but at this point in time, because I have learned that, it's how you manage your life. It's how you put everything into perspective. It's how you deal with life in the social and how you deal with others. And the best way to get through this is to have people around that love you, people that are around you that are always willing to give you that 100% push. But it can be done, and once you believe it can be done, it will be done.
What kind of medical interventions have you had until now following that diagnosis? What has happened?
Well, basically, what would I say? I haven't had, for me, I haven't had any medication. It's good for me because I was always sick, and sickness is a main key of doing that. I haven't had any chemo, which is good for me. None of that. So I just had the operation. I diet properly. I exercise. I get my therapy done every single day. For my last appointment coming up shortly. But I know in myself that I'm cancer free. I'm feeling good. I'm eating good. And I'm living good.
So what advice, because you're still in your 40s, what advice would you give to men today who are a little bit slow in coming forward to have those prostate cancer checks? What advice would you give?
Well, this advice that I would give, I have given it many times. Never be afraid. A lot of men are there are afraid to go and get, test done. They're afraid to, get the finger test done. It's nothing to be ashamed of. you know, if you reaction you him, and get the test done, get your blood taken, you know, and don't be afraid. Just go up there, do the research. It's up there. And remember, every sick that you find, but you must check. And one of the main things is men is coming and men is when you're passing water. For me, my main symptoms that when I pass water, I find that it takes very long. And then when it comes, sometimes you feel like you don't want to stop. And although it stops, you will walk away and then look away, oh shoot, you know, your past or vet or whatever it is, but it's nothing to be ashamed of. Go there, get your treatment, seek counseling, your family is going to support you, and you'll be all right.
You know, you're such an inspiration, Wingrove. Honestly, it is. I love your positive approach to everything, your diagnosis and how you're managing it as well. And something tells me you're a great inspiration to so many others this morning. Are you on that kind of a circuit where you're walking, going around and talking to different people about it?
Well, yes. You know, I'm not ashamed. I can go on any forum and talk to any person about it. Like even in my team, I'm a part of a team called Team Sonic, a writing team. A beautiful set of guys, ladies involved. I think we are the best team in the world, Team Sonic. Yes, and we talk, you know, before the meetings, we talk about this, you know, and let guys know if there's any problems, you know, let me know it and all this, put them in the right direction, right places, and it is great.
It is great, and you are doing a great job, Wingrove. Thank you for joining with us again this morning to share your particular story, and you are a great inspiration, Wingrove, and I encourage you to continue staying as positive as you already are. Thank you for joining us, Wingrove.
Thank you very much.
There he goes, Good Samaritan Wingrove Thomas, sharing with us today his bout with prostate cancer and staying as positive as ever. We too can be like him. All right, should we take that break and we'll come right back with more on Morning Barbados.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Let me introduce you now to this Barbadian talent. He was born in Zimbabwe, but that doesn't matter, he's ours. Wesu Wallace, good morning to you. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning, Jason.
So Wesu, you were born, you're welcome. You were born in Barbados, and then you came to Barbados at a quite young age. You went to MAPS College, you eventually then went on to the Alexandra School, and you are just super creative, Wesu. In 2012, you released an album, This Is My Party. You know, so that's when a lot of people really got to see all of the expressions of who you are. What are your favorite genres of music to perform?
You know what? I don't think I have a favorite. What I find myself doing a lot, especially recently, is Afrobeat. And not because it's a fad, but it's been within me for so long that it's just coming out. It's coming out more and more, and I don't think I have a favorite, but that's what I find myself doing a lot more.
But you're also quite good at soul and pop, R&B. There's so much that you're super talented, young man. And so who are some of these people who you've looked up to and thought, you know, I love to sing like, because you've been likened to people like Maxwell?
You know, So I've been in this industry now for about 23 years. When I started, it was Maxwell that I was influenced by. It was also Maxwell that I was forced to be influenced by because my appearance didn't seem very different from him, from his, and my sound didn't sound. It wasn't vastly different.
Yes.
So I was likened to Maxwell. I was also likened to Michael Jackson. But then in that era, in the late 90s, a lot of new artists like myself, we were so used to copying what was already there that we started to sound just like the people we were copying. So I was sounding like Maxwell. I was sounding like Michael Jackson. I was sounding like Stevie Wonder. And it took, I think, about 2003, I started to learn my own voice and my own sound and what I want to sound like instead of trying to sound like the people that I like to hear.
Yes, yes.
I mean, it took a while.
And so that voice came to be. And here you are now, that voice. And that voice took you all the way to The Voice UK in 2018. Talk about that experience.
Well, it wasn't anything new for me at the time because prior to The Voice, I was in Pop Idol 2, which was around the same year that it became American Idol. But we didn't have social media back then, so it didn't reach Barbados the way that The Voice did. I was in that show a lot longer than I was in The Voice. The Voice was actually really quick. It was the auditions that I did. I had to travel quite a few times between here, Barbados, and the UK. And after I did my blind audition, that's when I had to stay quiet because I couldn't tell anyone that there's someone, I'd been seen. So I had to wait for the filming to finish and then for the show to be aired.
Yes.
And the millisecond that the show was aired, I started getting calls from people that I hadn't even heard from in a long time.
What was it like,
congratulating me.
What was it like, Wesu, standing on the stage
It's
performing?
Wesu, by the way, sorry.
Wesu. Standing on the stage, performing in a blind audition, and then Will I Am also I turned around. What was that like when that happened?
So I hadn't actually noticed that he turned around until the song stopped, until my performance had ended. Because I went on, I was nervous. I started singing, and then I'm realizing the chairs aren't turning. Well, is when Will I Am turned, but there's no noises in the studio.
Okay.
So the chair doesn't go bang. That's all, for post, So he kind of just turns around. It's like a silent chair, just whoosh, like, oh, there you are. What's up? How you doing? So it was a pretty cool experience, to be honest.
Wow. But at the end of it all, there are lots of people who said, well, you were really the real winner. And hearing that, even though you didn't win it, but hearing that, how everyone else felt about you, what did that mean to you?
It meant quite a bit. It meant that my years and years of honing my skill has been acknowledged by people that didn't even know me. It means a lot still, when people say things like that, because at the end of the day, we all have different tastes, so my battle opponent, that person was selected because that was the taste for what they needed. She's good looking, she can sing, and she's easily marketable in the UK. Versus myself, I'm older, and so it's like, I don't mind. But the fact that people were saying that did mean a lot to me. I was like, okay, well then I've done a good job.
So what are you doing now, Vishu? What's next for you, and what else can we hear from you here in this landscape?
Well, because of COVID, COVID's the main topic.
Yes.
There's not much going on in terms of performances for me. However, 2020 provided me with an opportunity to finish an album that I had the ideas for since I released the first one.
Mm-hmm.
So around about June, July last year, 2020, I decided to record my entire album. And it took me just over a month to record it. Then I approached the NCF for funding to help with getting the album, the songs mastered and doing a music video and so on.
Mm-hmm.
And I then found myself in a fast-moving train, with my album.
Yes.
Like, everything was just getting done. And then we had lockdowns. Then the lockdown started, and then everything was just halted. I couldn't do anything, couldn't go anywhere, couldn't film. I was able to film this music video that we're sharing right now in December last year.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a series of 3 videos I'm supposed to be doing.
Right.
And right as I finished filming that one, and then it was done, it was in the editing pool and everything, we had our first lockdown. Craziness that happened in December, and then, as you know, everything else has been happening since. Here we are.
So,
but
with this,
the good thing is,
go ahead.
The good thing is that I'm filming my next video this weekend.
Oh, great. That's great.
Yeah,
So we look forward. We want to share it with us here on Bajan TV, TV8, don't forget. And this latest album, because we have 100% local radio station, 94.7, the best 24/7. Please make sure we have all of your music.
Oh, it's been sent.
Thank you, my brother. All right, Vishu, we gotta leave it right here. We wish you well. We can't wait to share more of your talent with the rest of Barbados as well. So thank you so much for joining us, and good luck on all of your journeys thus far. Thank you.
Thank you for having me. Thank you very much.
Vishu Wallace is his name, and you can hear his music on 94.7, the best 24/7. A break, and when we come back, that new voice to 98.1, The One.
But I hope it makes you never leave, at least not tonight. You don't have to go nowhere. I've gotta make sure everything you want is right here. Would you stay with me? Tell me if you like it there. I've gotta make sure everything is right here. Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
It's 5 minutes to 8 o'clock. This is going to go at supersonic pace. DJ Touchdown, good morning to you.
Hi, good morning, good morning. Good morning, Pearson. Good morning, Barbados.
Good having you. Welcome to the family. DJ Touchdown, brand new to 98.1 The One. You would have seen him, that face right there, on our stand home parties. Welcome to the family, Touchdown. How does it feel to know now that, hey, you've got your space on the radio?
Thank you very much for having me, both here and on the radio. For me, radio has always been a dream. I grew up and there were so many influences, and radio was very I would say, powerful in my life, because it was a way for me to actually just tune in and listen to something that would take my mind away from so much. And, you know, just seeing what music did for people, I felt like I wanted to do something for people as well. I can't really sing, so I felt like, you know, maybe I should try DJing too.
At least you're honest, for where you can't sing. So here it is now. You are part of our lineup on 98.1 The One, and you are opening the batting on Saturdays and Sundays. Did that scare you when I said you're going to open the show Saturdays and Sundays?
Not really, because, you know, coming through DJing, I've had to, you know, kind of cut my teeth on opening a lot of events. I'm very comfortable playing whatever time, and I see opening the batting, as you put it, as a big responsibility, because, you know, that gets people in the mood, that gets people going, and that could actually build the listeners for the rest of the day as well. So I see it as a huge responsibility and a privilege to actually be asked to open the batting.
So what can we expect from you now that you're going to be there tomorrow morning, bright and early at 5 o'clock, and on Saturday as well?
Definitely energy. I want to, you know, get you going, basically. That's why I named the show Takeoff. 5 a.m., you know, you could just roll over, turn on the radio, and it's nonstop vibes. Don't matter what you're doing, don't matter where you're going, you can just tune into the radio. It's good vibes all through the shift, all through the day. Yeah, like the best way to start your day.
And you're going to do it like a boss, right?
Definitely. It's a boss weekend. It's a boss station, 98.1 The Boss.
Well, you said it correctly. You said it correctly. Well done indeed. Quick questions. How tall are you?
I am, I would say 5'11".
Oh, not bad. Good height. And what's your favorite meal?
I love a good shepherd's pie.
Cheese on bread. You too? Listen,
yeah, man.
and like, especially when that meat is well seasoned.
Yes.
Dude. You know, I'll tell you, you know, while I was in hospital, you know, one of the things I craved was shepherd's pie. It was just so uncanny. And I remember one day calling my brother and saying, listen, when you're coming to visit me at noon, please stop by and bring me some shepherd's pie. I had to have that shepherd's pie against my doctor's orders, of course. But, you know, so what?
Yeah, it's kind of like a comfort food almost. Yeah.
I love shepherd's pie as well. So, with all that we know now about you, tomorrow morning, bright and early, you're going to be on the air. And folks, you can tune in to 98.1 The One for DJ Touchdown as we take off really on Saturdays and Sunday mornings. Touchdown, all the best on this journey with us. We know you're going to do very well. You'll make us proud. You're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, Barbados.
There he goes. He's so grateful. He's so kind. DJ Touchdown. Join him tomorrow morning at 5 o'clock on 98.1 The One. The Boss weekend gets going as we move together with DJ Touchdown, and on Sunday again with him. All right, that's it for today, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us this entire week. We wish you a great weekend. We look forward to seeing you again on Monday. Until then, now, for the crew, to all of you, good morning.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Barbados, get up. Good morning.